Governors from the South-South region of the country have declared their support for the federal government's tax reforms policy. The governors addressed journalists after a closed-door meeting in Yenagoa. All governors of the region, except Governor Monday Okpebholo of Edo State, was absent. The forum wants the federal government to look into the completion of the East-West Road alongside other infrastructural innovations and improved security architecture in the region.
We commend Mr. President for the award and commencement of the Coastal Road projects and appeal that work should also begin from the Calabar axis of the road. This strategic infrastructure will not only enhance connectivity, but also stimulate economic development in the region. We thank Mr. President for the ongoing work on the East-West Road. The forum emphasized the need to expedite action towards the completion of that road. This will facilitate movement within the region, noting that it is the major road that links all the South-South states. The forum further requests the federal government to urge relevant stakeholders and agencies to extend the remediation of polluted environment ongoing in Ogoniland to other impacted communities and states in the region.
Let's take a break now. When we come back, we have more stories, and we'll be speaking with Joseph Konde, our senior reporter, for more on the resolutions from the South-South Governors Forum, where Governor Doyediri of Bayelsa State was declared chairman. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Let's now bring in our senior reporter, Joseph Konde, who joins me on the news at 7 for more. Joseph, good to have you join us at this time. The governors of the South-South are also throwing their weight behind the president's tax reform policies. Bring us up to speed on this and the other resolutions that these governors reached.
Well, it is the first one that they'll be having in a long time, particularly for governors like Umar, of course, for his counterparts as well in Edo State, in Delta State, as well as River State, of course, not forgetting Cross River State. So basically, what they were looking at is more ways whereby the region can benefit, and of course, where they can work a lot of collaborative efforts. That's the reason why they had to look at, first of all, the tax reform policy, which they actually said they're in support of what Mr. President is doing and intends to do. But they are only looking at the situation whereby the VAT is going to be tilting towards the oil and gas. And when you talk about the oil and gas in the Niger Delta, it means that the 13% derivation is also going to be there. And they're asking for an increase in what already is in the PIA right now that the states are actually receiving in that regard. So they're hoping that they can have an increment in that percentage where the states can actually have more development coming through in that end. Now, aside from that, one particular area they also talked about is transportation and networking, and they're hoping that the federal government can kickstart the real project that happens to be going on, or supposed to be going on in River State, now to link the other states in the region, particularly in Niger Delta. They believe that if that comes into play, they're going to have a lot coming through from that end. And where you have a lot of employment that is supposed to be in that line as well, not forgetting the aspect of agriculture and as well a lot of innovation, infrastructural innovation, like they said, that they are looking forward to. And one particular mention that was said in the communique that was passed earlier this evening happens to be the one for the East-West Road. They want that road to be completed. You know, it has been on the board for a long time, although we have seen serious work being done in portions of the Niger Delta coming through, but they still want the road to be, speedy completed, because you know what it means when the rain sets in. it means that we're going to go back to having more difficulty in passing through that road. And the East-West Road is a very, very symbolic road in Niger Delta because it literally connects virtually all the states in the region. That's the reason why these governors came about and said, yes, we are supporting the president, and we're also believing that he has a lot of interventionist agency, but they're hoping that they can have these things coming through to improve the region.
All right. And quite importantly also, the governor of the state where you report from, Doye Diri, has actually been named chairman of the South-South Governors Forum. Talk to us about that and the significance.
Absolutely. Before his emergence as the chairman, it happens to be the former governor of Edo State in Godwin Obaseki. But since he left, even before he left, the last time the governors gathered here was about 8 months ago, and it wasn't all of them that was in attendance at that time. So being the oldest in the region has been suggested by the governor of Delta State in Sheriff Oberiwori. They said, no, we have to make this man. And the motion was raised by him and was moved by him, and of course supported by the River State governor as well, and that's the reason why. Now, the interesting thing about this particular leadership of the South-South region happens to be that it's cutting across party lines. It's not really about the PDP or the APC, but everybody's syncing together to working together because we have both parties having governors in the region. So while Doye Diri happens to be the one for Bayelsa State from the PDP, his vice happens to be from Cross River State. So it makes an interesting matchup. And let's also tell you that they're also senators. They've been there, they've done that as well in the chamber. So it's looking forward to going to be an interesting time coming through for them. And of course, there was a little bit of a high point of today, happens to be a celebration of the birth of the River State governor, so that clocked 50 as well today.
All right, then. Thank you very much for that update. Joseph Konde for us in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State.